Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. It is Peter and Sal here from Strong Healthy Women. Hey, Sal.
Hi Peter, how are you?
Going good. So we are here with the weekly wrap up, everybody, and there has been just so much going on in the Strong Healthy Women community. And I know that this week we've had some really big, meaty, beefy topics. So the first one was all about making simple changes in your life. So if you want to start working out, then really taking it down to that lowest factor, which might be just simply putting on a pair of shoes, your joggers, and getting ready. And so, after a period of time of walking around in those shoes, you start to think, well, this is just ridiculous. I should probably do something with these shoes. And so then we moved into meditation and journaling. And the reason that we did that is because in the Insiders, we did a masterclass for them, and it was all about turning inwards for answers. And I know for us women, we tend to put everybody else first. That's just in our nature. We're nurturing beings. And so what actually happens is we do everything for everybody else and we leave ourselves to last. But I know that what transpires is as we're aging, we start to become more aware of putting ourselves first, but then life can happen and we can get distracted from that. And I will talk about this a little bit later on with two of the girls I want to do a shout out with. But meditation and journaling, what we did was we took the woohoo and foohoo out of it and brought it down to common things that you could do. And I really love that topic. And one of the things that you do sell all the time is when you're in like out shopping and it's just chaotic, you deep breathe.
Yes,
It's so simple.
it is.
And
It's so
you know,
simple.
and your meditation could be as simple as deep breathing.
Hmm.
Anyway, and so then on Friday, we talked about how we need to be moving more. And what was the average stat cell? Something like 13 hours the average person is
Hmm.
sitting for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and so what we want to do is bringing that back to around about that 3 to 4 hours of sitting time. And the first way to actually work out how long we're sitting for is to actually time how long we're sitting for. And I know what I did yesterday, Sal, is I reversed it. So you know how we were talking about do an hour and set your alarm on the hour and then go and do 5 or 10 minutes worth of moving. So I reversed it yesterday and I did 10 minutes of work and then I did the rest of it as moving. And boy, did I feel like so pumped yesterday. Like I
Yeah.
really felt um, that I could conquer anything. And you know, it was something really simple. So we have a very large family room, as you know. And so I just started with just scraping all the dirt out of the window ledges. And there's a lot because we get a lot of dust and live in the country. And so I started with that. And then I started with, doing the edging around the the floor. And I was on my hands and knees because there was little things everywhere. And yeah, and Andrew popped over and he said, "You're making me tired just watching you, Peter." And I've gone, "Yeah, I know." I said, "It's really funny." I said, "I've just about had enough." So last night the furniture was everywhere, and I went, "You know what? It's just staying there till tomorrow." So anyway, enough about me. So yeah, we do need to get moving more. And I know that Lorraine was someone who she started with us. Is it 12 months ago, Sal? Has she
12 months.
reached her 12 months?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So she's reached her 12-month anniversary. And I know that she's always wanted to do something, but work was such a priority for her. And I know that that's what happens with some of us girls. We do tend to put work first. And I know while work is really important, guess what? We're even more important than work. because if we don't take care of ourselves, then what's going to happen is we're going to start to get sick, and we don't want to get sick, or we might get some of those terrible diseases and things like that, and we don't want to do that either. So we just have to find that balance between work and play and nurturing ourselves. So, and I know that you want to give a big shout out to Lorraine today, so tell me all about that.
So Lorraine is a regular at 6 a.m. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so she's been with us 12 months. And I was just
Mm.
watching her Friday, and we had push-ups in the studio this Friday. And I was watching her, and we have those moments as trainers where we can be training you, and then we just see something and we go, wow. And
Mm. Mm.
even though we've been tracking your progress and that sort of thing, there are those moments when we go, yeah, she's
Yep.
gotten that type thing. And it was with Lorraine's push-ups. And I just noticed that they were deeper, and her hands were in the right
Great.
position, and her chest was going to the floor. And I just thought she has just come ahead leaps and bounds. Thinking back when
Mm.
she does her squats are low and technique is perfect. And it's every session, like she puts in that 100% every session, and she never slacks off on
Yeah.
the technique. She never slacks off on her range of motion. If you're not sure what range of
Yeah.
motion is, that's the start
Mm.
to the finish of a repetition. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so I just wanted to give a big shout out to Lorraine because she's just doing amazing.
Well done, Lorraine. Because I know that, and she listens as well too. So I know that for me personally, as her trainer, a lot of the time as well too, I have gone, Lorraine, come on, you're not going deep enough, or if I'm finding that that technique is slightly out, I will give her a yell out, and she will fix it.
Yes.
So, and she fixes it straight away, and that is just paying off for her tremendously, which is
Oh,
absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
and I think too, probably about a month ago, you and I both commented that her shape had changed.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
but it's really interesting because we're looking down, a computer screen just like this, and for our wonderful ladies, they're probably starting to feel it in their clothes, or their energy levels, as an example. But we don't necessarily see it. It will just be all of a sudden it's like there. We're looking at it and going, oh wow. And what we tend to find is this, that we hide behind the baggy clothes. So we wear the looser clothes when we're not so confident. And then what happens is when the shape starts to change, we start to wear the tighter clothes. And that's when we notice. So it's really good to wear those tighter clothes regardless, because you can really start to see that shape changing even sooner than that big massive change that we see. So yeah, shout out to you, Lorraine. Awesome
Woo!
work. Yeah, totally. And when we were talking about Sell this week about simple changes, is just doing one step at a time, and then being consistent with that and moving forward. So mastering it, getting it right. And, if you find yourself getting back off track, then what happens is you go back and you start at the very beginning, and then you keep improving, improving, improving. And that all comes down to consistency. And I know that Coral is someone who is extremely consistent. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Coral?
So Coral has been one of our clients, I think, for 12 years. I think she's up to her 12-year
Mm,
anniversary. But she's one of our clients that is always one of the first ones in the virtual studio. Um,
she is.
she, yeah, yeah. She's always consistent, so it's very rare that she misses a session.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is that, if she does have something that she needs to go to, she's always also very consistent in letting us know that she's not going to be there. So
Yes, that's true.
yeah. And so her consistency has paid off. Like the strength that she has is just amazing.
Mm.
And you just know, with that consistency, you just know that she is her priority, and her workout is her priority, because it's,
Yeah.
she's just gone in there ready to go. She, as I said, she messages us and lets us know if she does have something on, and that
Yep.
shows me that she needs to let us know that she's not just slacking off, that something has come up
Mm.
and she can't make it. So yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to Coral. She is very consistent, and it just shows in the strength that she's gained.
Getting off the beaten track in regards to Coral, Coral is an icon as far as eyewear is concerned.
Yeah.
Coral has these glasses that you can change the color of the rims on them. And so, depending on what she's wearing that day and how she's feeling, she changes the lenses, the frames of her glasses. And I mean, it just makes her whole body, her whole persona just light up. She's someone who shines from the inside out. Um,
Yes.
because you see that beauty come from her when she's just an amazing woman. And she is someone who is alone in her
Mm.
house. And we have several ladies like that. And so we are very, very conscious of the fact that they are alone, and that if they don't let us know, then we start to go, oh, hang on a minute, we might need to check on them. So, there is that lifeline, I think, as well too. That's really important.
Yeah.
And I know that Coral mentioned a while back that she was helping some friends of hers put down some, that rubber flooring stuff in the
Yes.
caravan. Yeah, and she said she was getting up and down and she was squatting, and she said, I'm really proud of my squatting, Peter. She said, I'm just getting up and down. I'm not making any noises like, those old lady noises or those noises that my mum used to make. I'm not making those noises. And my friend's husband said, wow, like you're not even puffing or anything like that. And she said, all of a sudden I had this realization, oh my goodness, I'm not. I'm just not.
Yeah.
And I feel so strong. So, and that's what's important. I think sometimes what happens is we focus on that number on the scale. And that number of the scale doesn't necessarily mean we're healthy. Because ladies, you can be skinny fat. And I'm not being nasty in saying that. It's so true. I've had women who are tiny women, 50 kilos, 55 kilos. And when they have their body composition checked, so that's how much fat to muscle the ratio is, what we find is that these ladies have got higher body fat. And in some instances, we've been up close to almost 50%. So when we look at that lady and we go, she's only 50, she's tiny and she's healthy, but that's not necessarily the case. We need to make sure that our body composition is right, and that we have that lean muscle. And what happens is, Sal, and you and I both know this, we see this, that we as women will gravitate to exercises that are more cardio based than strength based. And I think we're starting to flip the switch on that we are starting to see ladies embrace more strength training. Would you agree with that?
I do agree with that, but I also think not only do they gravitate towards the cardio, but they gravitate towards the easy as well, because
there's
this mindset of, well, you know what, I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 70, so I need to be really, really super careful, so I'll go for something that's nice and easy and gentle, and it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah. So, there's a lot to be said for what we eat, and there's no doubt about that. We need to be aware of our macros, which is our proteins, our carbs, our healthy fats as well too. So we do need to be aware of those things. But we need to be aware of how much strength training we're doing as well too. Because if we're not doing the strength training, no matter what type of eating program you're doing, what will happen is you will lose muscle regardless. So it doesn't matter what you're doing, you will lose muscle, but the amount of muscle will depend on the type of exercise you're doing as well. Yes. So if we were, for example, walking, so we're out there power walking like crazy, then we're not strength training, then we're definitely going to lose muscle as well as the body fat.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's when we become weaker rather than stronger. So
and when we
it is
become weaker, this is when falls can happen, and
yes,
sore hips, sore joints, limited flexibility.
Yes, so true. And so when we think about what we're eating, a lot of the times we will eat less. Now, to lose weight, if that's what your goal is, we generally do have to eat less. But if we're someone who's been eating less and less and less and less, that's just putting stress on our body. So, which is going to affect so many of the hormones in our body, our insulin, our cortisol levels, that stress level particularly. And what that actually means to us is that we are going to get to a stage where we're not going to be seeing results on the scale because our body's finding it difficult to cope with the stress that's going on in it. And so when it comes to wanting to lose weight, then it is about the life that we're leading. It's not just about eating less. It is about what we eat and being consistent with that. So many of us will do some type of program, whatever that program is, and then we then go back to our old habits again and we come back to where we were, or if not, increase. And then what happens from there is we go, oh, well, this worked for me. And then we go back to that particular program. And then we find that that program isn't working. And that's because all our hormones, metabolism, everything, it's just like all over the place and I can't cope. And so the results that we got in the first time may not be the results that we get the second time because the body is struggling. And so we need to be aware that sleep is important, handling our stress is important, drinking plenty of water is important, what we eat is important. And making sure that we get that strength training in, because that's what's important as well too.
Yes.
Yeah. So any comments on any of that, Sal?
If you are starting out, don't be overwhelmed by everything, you know, your water, your sleep, your meditation,
No,
your strength
not at
training.
all.
Just pick one thing to do this week. Write all 7 things
Yep.
down, all 6 things down. Write them down. And this week, my focus is my water. And
Yep.
it's, we
And
always
keep
talk
it.
about this, it's a snowball effect, Ben. Oh, my
Yep,
water's been
that's right.
amazing. So next week, I'm going to focus on my food. And I love what Peter said last
Yeah.
week about writing your colours down for your food. What colours are you having in your food? In your whole food.
Yeah. And of course, sometimes what happens is that drinking the water, it may take a lot longer before that actually does become part of the norm for you as well. So it may not just be a week thing. It might be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. We're all different as far as creating these new routines in our life. So don't rush off and go and add something else in, because then what you're doing is you're going, oh, wow, this is too hard. I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And it's too overwhelming. And so then what happens is we get too many obstacles in front of us and we go, okay, I'm just giving up. And we don't want you to give up. We want you to create that level of consistency. We want you to achieve that progress like Coral is doing and like Lorraine is doing. They actually are consistently doing what they need to do, and they're seeing the progress. So some really, really good lessons there, Sal, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Mm. I do want to give a shout out to Julie and Maria. So Julie has very severe tear in the top part of her arm. And she's feeling it because she can't even comb her hair properly. She can't make a bed. So she can't use a towel to wipe her back. So she's reliant now on her husband to do these things for her. And so she's been having some physio done on it. And, it's been going for quite some time. She's feeling drained by the whole thing. It is affecting her emotionally. And then Maria, on the other hand, is, she's very, very concerned for her daughter, Sandra, who lives overseas with her granddaughter in the thick of COVID. And particularly because Sandra has severe asthma. And so, just getting groceries and things like that is a real concern. And they connect every single day, but she's worrying about that. And of course, what's happening is because she is stressing over these things, because these girls are stressing over these things, they're not seeing those numbers on the scale that I want to see. But when we were talking in our weekly catch up, I just said, well, what we need to do is just focus on the fact that we need to be able to get your stress under control. We need to try and flip this a little bit so that you can put yourself first. And look, kudos to them, because what happened is they did put themselves first. Julie wasn't really feeling up to it, but she still came into the weekly meeting. Maria was looking after her grandson. She got him dinner and everything, but she came in late. She's gone, sorry, sorry, sorry. And it didn't matter that she was late. She just went, I needed this. I said to my husband, George, you have to look after him. You just have to, because it's been 2 weeks since I've been there, and I have to do this for me because I'm just feeling so much on edge. And
it's that accountability too.
And knowing that someone's there that's going to say something, that it's okay to be feeling like that, and to be able to say, well, you could try this or you could try that. and give you ideas that may enable you to be able to care about yourself a little bit more. So, they took that first step. They did take that first step. And that's what that first step is all about, is going, hey, this is what's going on. And I need help. I just need someone to listen to me. I just need to be able to dump it out. And of course, if we go back to what we talked about earlier this week, so when we talked about journaling, like you don't even have to have someone around. You just write it down and you just dump it on the page. And it doesn't matter what you say. It's just giving you that ability to get it out of yourself and not hold it in. Because if we hold it in, those stress levels, those cortisol levels are going up and up and up. And that's just going to affect us in all ways.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think we have that. I know for myself, and I've talked about it before, but you have that default mode where you go to, Maria's daughter is on the other side of the world. She's speaking to her every day, but she's sitting there worried about her, but she literally cannot do anything. So
she can't.
Bring the
focus
to her. For Julie, heartbreaking for Julie. Julie is such an active person, and she joined Strong Healthy Women to stay active. And this tear has put her in that category. And she even said to us, that someone did say to her, "Oh, but you're in that age group. What do you expect?" And
she
was like, hang on a second. No.
Yeah.
I don't have to accept this. So it can be heartbreaking for Julie as well, but as you said, and as you suggested, baby steps.
And, the thing is that with Julie, that she has been told not to exercise. And she said, that's just really a hard pill for me to swallow. And I said, well, quite frankly, it's a hard pill for me to swallow. I said, when I had shoulder issues, that didn't stop me from exercising. I said, I've got a whole lower body and a core body, that I can actually work on. I can stand, I can actually do this and I can still work out. I can still protect my arms and work. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I said to her, we've got that gentle exercise guide. And so yesterday, what I did in our FitFlex community was I went through the exercises, and I don't know whether you saw this, Sal, and I specifically said, Julie, this is specifically for you, but if anybody else is needing it, go right ahead. But here's what you can do. You can still work out with this. And so I converted every single exercise over so that she can still move.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep the shoulders
I think sometimes, yeah, that's right. Keep it protected. But I think the whole concern is that if you have something like that, that you may fall. And that's why she might have got that advice that, you need to not exercise. But, if you are around, if you're working out with people who are trying to get you to do things with that injury, well, you're in the wrong place. You've got to be in a place where someone is saying to you, well, okay, this is what you can do, and this is really gentle, and I want you to be gentle because we don't want those falls. We don't want you to hurt yourself.
No.
So, totally. So, any final words from you, Sal?
Just baby steps, and we've talked about that all week. That's sort of been our theme. Baby steps with whatever you do. So whether it's your eating or your water or your exercise, as you said, go out and buy a brand new pair of joggers. And just wear them while
I so need a new pair. I've worn mine out. I can start to feel, I'm feeling the rocks underneath my feet now, and it's like, it's like, okay, I need to go and buy a new pair of these things. So, we'll get around to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my final thoughts are really that I want you to think about who's important in your life. Who is the most important person. And I want you to change that so that you think about yourself being the most important, because when something happens to you, it is you who is going through it. And even though you might have this fantastic group of people around you to support you, it is still you going through it. And so it is up to you to make sure that you love yourself enough to put yourself first.
Yes.
They're my thoughts for today.
Awesome.
All right, Sel, thanks for joining me. Thanks, ladies. See you
Thank you for
all
joining
on
us. Thank you for
Monday.
having me, Peter. Bye.
You're welcome. See you, Sel. Bye.
Bye.